All right, on this episode of Bowks Talking Bouts, excited to be talking to an individual set to compete at Oktagon 36, which transpires on October the 15th. A very intriguing welterweight bout going down between Leandro Silva and Bojan Velickovic, and happy to be talking to Bojan on the show for the very first time. How's it going there, man?
Good, man. Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to put me on your platform and give me, a chance to share a couple words with you about my next fight.
Oh, no worries, man. I mean, it seems like a hugely consequential fight, so very much happy to have you on the program. Like, it seems like it's not expressly been described as a title eliminator from what I've seen, but just considering, like, the resume you and your opponent have here, like, do you think that a statement win here could vault you towards another title shot at 170 pounds within the company?
Probably. I'm not too worried about that, but yeah, as you said, like from where him and I stand, and considering that I took a short notice fight against David and lost, they told like after that fight, I've been told that if I win one or two fights, that I'm gonna get another shot for a title. So. I already got one win out of the way, and if I get another one, I think that should be a done deal. But as I said, I'm not too preoccupied about that. I'm focused on the fight that it's ahead of me, which is Leandro Silva, and I know that he's a good, experienced fighter, so I'm fully focused on that.
Yeah, I can understand that. You don't want to overlook the immediate task and then, be in a certain kind of compromised spot. I can understand what you mean by that. But you did touch on the title bid there against David Kozma and everything like that, and saying it was like kind of relatively short notice. But I mean, you got to like the fourth round and everything like that, like the championship round. So I mean, maybe something there in the sense of like it not being like a full camp, but still like endeavoring to get into those championship rounds and stuff like that. So even though it maybe wasn't like the 100% representation you would have wanted in the title fight, are there still certain takeaways or certain positives you have from that initial title fight that could inform another title fight down the line potentially?
Well, as you said, like I took a fight on a 10 or 11-day notice against the guy who defended his title 5 or 6 times through all 5 rounds. So I think he's really experienced and he knows how to pace himself for a 5-round fight. I took the fight definitely and he had a full camp. I took the fight on 11-day notice, went to the fourth round, and in those 4 rounds, I got him a few times clean in the third round with a high kick and got him a little bit wobbled on his feet. So even though I took the fight on such a short notice, I showed that I'm dangerous enough that I can put him away. If I focused a little bit better and prepared for his style and worked on specific things, I think I could have won that fight. But that fight is behind us, so I'm not too worried about that. But it is kind of an encouragement for possible next fight to know that regardless of styles and conditioning and camps, I showed I'm dangerous enough that I can get his attention, and so I think if we get to fight again, it's going to be a very different fight.
Yeah, and then as you said, getting back into the win column a bit earlier this year, getting that victory in the March main event there at Oktagon Prime 5. How good was that, just getting, back on track? The unanimous decision seemed like a comprehensive enough performance from, my outside perspective. How did you feel about the last one there, though?
I felt good. Mate definitely wanted to make a point with his grueling pace and his wrestling. But I think I did a really good job at defending his takedowns for the first 2 rounds. I think he took me down once at the end of the second round, but didn't do any damage. I think I controlled those first 2 rounds. In the third round, he definitely got me with his pace and got me tired, and then took me down 3 or 4 times. But again, didn't do any damage. I didn't have even one bruise after that fight. Didn't put me in any submission that I had to be super worried or concerned. The fight went my way, and that was pretty satisfying. But as some people would say, it wasn't that impressive and dominant win. So I don't think that was enough to get another title shot. So I think in this fight I have to show that I can be dominant and that I can win in a big fight and maybe earn another title shot.
Yeah, and this next fight seems like an intriguing one, because I saw the post you had there where you were saying, like, oh, I'm going to be fighting a very good, experienced, tough opponent. Was this someone that was kind of on your radar for a bit, just considering the resumes both of you guys have, like maybe thinking, oh yeah, Leandro Silva is a guy I'll probably end up fighting in this division?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just when I got signed with Oktagon last year in spring, and I think that's the time when. So after I got signed, the first event that Oktagon had was David Cosma versus Leandro Silva, and that fight went into 5 rounds, and it was really good fight to watch. And I think Oktagon later on pronounced it as a fight of the year. So I was like, when I saw the fight, I was like, oh, I hope I'm going to fight one of these two guys, or both of them. And it turns out that I did fought David already, and that right now I'm fighting Leandro. So I'm super excited. I think he's a very experienced. What I like about him is one thing I'm for sure that we're gonna give fans great fight. Because he's a guy, in my last fight, Mate knew that I'm a very dangerous striker, and he didn't want to have any of that, so he was just going for wrestling, for takedowns. We spent most of the fight in a clinch, defending takedowns, taking down, I don't think it was very spectacular and very exciting for fans, but with Leandro, I know that he's a showman. He likes to strike. He likes to change stances. He likes to throw fancy big shots. I'm a gamer and I like challenges, so I think it's gonna be a really fun and exciting fight to watch. So that's something that I'm most excited about. I'm at this point of my career where I'm not too concerned and too worried about the outcome of the fight. The only thing I'm concerned is to go out there, give my best, make sure that fans, when they leave the arena, they say, "Oh my God, that fight was insane. It was crazy," and I want to give them something to talk about and to remember me by. While I'm in this sport, I want to make some kind of impact. So, that's my only concern.
Yeah, and you touched on it well there. It's cool. There's this trifecta around the title in a certain situation almost. I mean, there's another title fight locked in, which we'll kind of touch on a bit later. But just cool that it's you, Leandro Silva, David Cosma kind of floating around that sort of space there. I would think that would, pay dividends to what you're doing too. Just having other elite level players like that helping you, grow your own skills and motivate you, etc.
Yeah, for sure.
But you did mention, being signed to Oktagon somewhat recently there, and just with the backdrop of you having UFC and PFL victories. How has the Oktagon experience been? It seems like a promotion that's really been rising in notoriety and stuff like that over the last few years.
Man, to be honest, I didn't have a huge expectations, but I'm 100% in love with Oktagon. They're so They're so professional. They're so big in Germany. I mean, this is their second event in Germany and my first one outside of Czech Republic and Slovakia. And what I know is that their fans are absolutely crazy and like very, very exciting, very how would I say, very passionate. I never felt so kind of loved by fans. I mean, maybe in Serbia when I was starting, but like outside of UFC and PFL, like such a big and beautiful show every time. Last year I fought in Bratislava in arena. There was like more than 10,000 people, fans everywhere, before fight, after the fight, and they're not too crazy to a point where I feel that I have to hide or that I have to like take a back exit or something like that. Like very pleasant to meet and like talk with all the fans around the event and at the weigh-ins. Yeah, I'm just and then every show it seems like the attendance is growing. I mean, I never fought in Prague, but I heard that over there they usually fill out 25,000 people arena. Yeah, I'm excited and looking forward to events like that.
Well, that's cool because a bit earlier you were saying like, oh, at this point in my career, I'm looking to more put on like great performances and just more so speaking to the longevity of your career, just being in it for over a decade. It must be cool to have these like sort of first time kind of experiences, like, you know, going to Germany, etc., fighting in front of these crowds. Like that must be a cool thing for you at this point in your martial arts journey.
Yeah. Like when I was in UFC, I fought a few times. One of the biggest events I fought at was when I fought Nico Musoki in Stockholm, Sweden. That was sold out Ericsson Globe Arena, where it was like I think 18 or 20,000 people, and I fought a local guy. So like it wasn't the most friendly crowd for me, yeah. But it was for sure very exciting and like great feeling to walk into such a big arena, like full, like packed. And then after that, I fought in Australia in arena in Olympic Stadium in Sydney, where there was also around 20,000 people. And then later on, when I went to PFL itself is a great organization and very big, like money prizes, but they usually fight in a small venues, like in a small theaters and at small arenas where there's only couple hundred people. And even though I was making like good money, even better than UFC, I was not excited. Like walking out, I didn't have those goosebumps, and I was not excited to the bone about the fights and like performing well. Once I got into the octagon, like everything changed. I honestly thought I'm gonna probably fight a couple more times and see if I can get back to UFC, and if not, retire or something like that. But now, after I got that, and after I felt all that love and excitement from their fans, I don't know how long this journey might go on. So I'm just enjoying the moment. As I said, I really care about performing well and putting up a good show for those fans, and everything else, it's gonna, like, we'll see what's gonna happen.
Yeah, and in terms of also seeing what's going to happen, there's another consequential welterweight fight happening at the, next Oktagon event following this one with, the aforementioned David Kozma defending his title against Kayik Brito. Like, what are your thoughts on that particular fight? Like, how do you see that one closing out? Do you think it's going to be like and new or and still leading into 2023?
I don't know. Kaik showed that he's a very dangerous striker. In his last fight, he knocked out Andrei Kalashnik, the fella from Czech Republic that I know, very tough guy. Kaik knocked him out in the first round, I think, with a cross, like on a feet. So yeah, he showed he can be very dangerous. On the other side, David is very tough. He showed he's not easy to like knock out or outperform. He defended his title number of times. So I think we're up to like another exciting fight. Welterweight championship fight. So yeah, I'm excited to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, very intriguing fight for sure. But something I was noticing in doing my research there, I was noticing you handed Yuri Prohaska his first pro MMA loss there a number of years ago. What are your recollections of that particular fight that happened almost a decade or so ago? Because it's interesting, you're fighting at welterweight now, and he's like the UFC light heavyweight champion.
At that time, my first 10 or 11, 12 fights were at a middleweight. And for that particular fight, I was supposed to fight somebody who's middleweight, but then the opponent got injured like three weeks before the fight, and then they found a replacement, which was Yuri at the time. I think my record was 6-1, and
Yep.
he was 4-0, and yeah, I was coming off of my first loss in my career, so I was very motivated to win the fight, and I think some of the information that I find out that he's coming from like a very striking oriented gym, that their wrestling is not particularly very good. I started and I saw that he was taller than me and longer, so I didn't want to like spend too much time on my feet. But I did open the fight with couple of combinations, rushing into him just to make him feel uncomfortable. And then when I felt that it's time, I closed the distance, took him down, and finished him with a ground and pound. So yeah, I think it was just a mix of circumstances that I kind of had like a good scouting and good game plan for that fight, and he was still like not super experienced. He was only he only had 4 fights before that, so I kind of caught him there, and yeah, so that fight was at a light heavyweight, but at the weigh-ins, I was like 3 kilos or 2 or 3 kilos under the weight limit because I was not originally light heavyweight. So yeah, I knew I'm smaller and shorter fighter, so I had to like rush in and make something happen, and I succeeded. So yeah, good for me, I guess.
Yeah, no, definitely a good feather to have in the cap, to say the very least. I mean, he's gone on to do some great things, as have you. But something I was also noticing beyond the martial arts there, like, it seems like you're into like a couple different like outside kind of hobbies, or I guess even like viewership-minded interests. Like it seems like the bow hunting fires you up, and like snowboarding, like, you know, basketball and Formula One, you seem to watch a fair bit. Like, what are your main, I guess, hobbies / interests outside of fighting when you're not getting in that hard work?
Well, currently I'm very busy. I didn't get to hunting season actually just ended last week here in Colorado. Hunting season for archery just ended, and I didn't. This is the first year after 5 years that I didn't get to go because I'm in a fight camp. Obviously, this is my main focus, and I didn't want to risk or take away any time from the camp, because when I do go hunting, I like to I like to go to the mountains and just like zone out for a couple days and enjoy nature. And I haven't really. The only game that I harvested so far was a deer 2 or 3 years ago. But every time I go out there, just like interacting and looking, searching for game. Last year, I had a tag for bear and for elk. So just going around the mountain, carrying bow and arrow in a hand, and I don't know. There's something about that kind of. It's like a time machine where I feel, I don't know, I just feel very, very present, very like one with nature, and I really love that. But as I said, I couldn't do that this year, so that went out of the window. I like to follow Formula One, and I do like to go karts sometimes, but I didn't do that for a while either. Pretty much I put on the side all my hobbies in the last 2 to 3 months for this fight. So after that, I'm looking forward to snowboarding, because snowboarding season starts the week I come from Germany. So I think I come back from Germany right as the season for snowboarding opens. So I think that's what I'm going to do after my fight. And in the next couple months, since the winter is coming.
Yeah, I mean, as you were saying that, I was thinking the timing sounds perfect for that. But yeah, I mean, you've been really great with your time, man. I appreciate you coming on the show ahead of such a big fight and everything. But I also want to be mindful of the rest of your schedule. So to that point, is there anything you might want to add as a parting thought as we're kind of wrapping up here, man?
No, just I'm very grateful for the opportunity to talk with you and share the thoughts about my fight. I think it should be a really big one. So, I wanted to, send a message to everybody at your platform if they can tune in and watch the fight on Oktagon.tv. That would be great. I think there's a couple more very exciting fights on the card. Including my teammate, Mallory Martin. She got cut from UFC this year, and this is going to be her first fight outside of UFC. I think, is the second fight of the night. So from the prelims to a main card, I think there's a lot of good fights. It should be a lot of good action. So tune in, follow, support us, and I appreciate you.
Yeah, well, thanks so much for coming on the show, man. I definitely appreciate it on my end as well. And I mean, yeah, to your point, definitely a stacked event. I mean, I saw John Hathaway's name on the card too, another former UFC name, to the point of what you're talking about with Mallory Martin, also yourself included in that. But yeah, this Leandro Silva fight should be hugely exciting at Oktagon 36, and people can check that out October 15th. And yeah, just thanks so much for coming on the show again. To reiterate, man, hopefully you enjoy the rest of your day, and yeah, excited to peep the fight when it happens there.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.